Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today, man? How are you doing today? Happy Labor Day to the people in the U.S. Happy Labor Day. Hope you enjoy your holidays, man. This is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas, with his inspirational morning talk. We got some overcast weather here today. Today is a big barbecue day here in Texas. Also for the holidays, the whole area gonna be smelling of barbecue in a minute. But yes, it's a great day, man. I hope it's a great day wherever you are. I know the people in New York waited a long time to get the Labor Day, the West Indian Day parade. Good morning, Tracy Heyman. Good morning. They waited a couple of years due to COVID to get the West Indian Day parade back. So I just hope all of you just be safe, have a great time, and enjoy all the activities that's going on there all around the country, man. Hey, but today, man, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to get out here and do this message, man. I couldn't wait. I didn't sleep. Tessa, good morning, cuz. How are you doing today? Yes, today is one of those days I just couldn't wait. I didn't even sleep so well. Just glad for this time come for me to give this message today. It was so serious because I had a very interesting weekend. First of all, let me say I was reading Ezekiel. I know I tell you I'm going through the Bible in 365 days a year. Good morning, Jillian. Good morning. How are you doing? So I'm going through the Bible. It's due to a Bible study me and my wife doing, and you go through every day. They got it set out where you need to read for every day, and you'll get through the Bible in a year, right? Like I said before, I know they make a mistake in one of my videos and said I went through it in a month. No, I went through it in 90 days twice. The Bible in 90 days. It's a whole. They have it set out. It's called Bible in 90 days. You could Google it and buy the book, and they have it set out how much you need to do to go through it in 90 days. But this time I'm going through it in the full year, where it takes some more time and look at it. So long story short, I was in Ezekiel right now, and I was reading Ezekiel 3 and a message God gave Ezekiel that stood out to me. And, when something stands out to you, just like how we do. Debbie Kissoon, good morning. How are you doing? Just like when something stood out to you, you take your highlighter and you highlight it, right? And, I just highlighted it. Stood out to me, I highlighted it. And that was like either Thursday or Friday. So, yes, so Saturday now. Saturday is going on a little walk in the morning. Still try to get my little walk in as much as I can. And I was walking and I was looking at my phone on YouTube. And I saw this video come across. I either think it said witchcraft in plain sight or the devil hiding in plain sight. Something like that. I'm like, okay, let me just click on it. And when I click on it, it's two young ladies have denouncing their affiliation with the AKA organization, right? You guys went to college and all that. And this is talking about sororities and fraternities, right? This is what this whole thing is about. And I had no interest in that, but I listened to them. I listened it out and to talk about all, the stuff going on. And then after God put it on my heart, and long story short, the entire weekend I was listening to these people and getting more education about these organizations, these secret societies, right? I talked about secret societies before. But for whatever reason, God He put this across my path because I wasn't looking for this. I had no interest in it. But after, and I said, God, why you have me listening to these things here? What He said, remember what I had you highlighted in Ezekiel? He said, remember? I said, oh, okay. So here we had me highlighted in Ezekiel here, right? Here we had highlighted. When I go back to the actual part of the highlighter, so let me go back up a little more in the passage. And this is what he said. When he point Ezekiel as one of the prophets over Israel, he gave him a scroll. Let me give a little backstory. He gave him a scroll. He write everything on the scroll where he want him to say to Israel, and he had him eat the scroll, because I guess he wanted the word in him already, and he can just, pull out what he want to pull out whenever he want to pull it out. So he had Ezekiel eat this scroll, long story short and all that. And he said, Ezekiel, why ain't going and give my people these messages, right? And why not listen? But you still got to go and tell them, right? Ezekiel wasn't too happy. So David, good morning. How are you doing? Hope it's a great day. So long story short, in Ezekiel 3, Let's start from 10. This we tell Ezekiel. He said, then he added, Son of man, let my words sink deep into your own heart. Let my words sink deep into your own heart. He said, listen to them carefully for yourself. So all of these things he had me listening. He said, let my words sink deep into your own hearts. And I want you, Marcy Wells, good morning. He said, I want you to listen to them carefully for yourself. Listen to them carefully for yourself, right? He says, then go to the people in exile and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Here was the instruction he gave me. He said, do this whether they listen to you or not. He said, do this whether they listen to you or not. So ladies and gentlemen, right now, I got to do this. Whether people turn off, whether people don't listen, who listens, how much views, I got to do this. He said, do this whether they listen to you or not. Then Ezekiel 3:17 through 19. This is actually had me highlighted. When I went back, the other verse 10 had stood out, but this is what he had me highlighted here. When I was first going through Ezekiel, he had me highlighted this, and then when he reminded me after he had me listen to all this stuff, this is the reason why I had you highlight this. Hear what it says. Ezekiel 3:17 through 19. He says, Son of man, I have appointed you as a watchman for Israel. This is what he's telling Ezekiel, but he's talking to me through it, right? He said, I appoint you as a watchman for Israel. Whenever you receive a message from me, warn people immediately. Up there, he said, do it, whether they listen or not. He said, warn people immediately. If I warn the wicked, he's saying, if I warn the wicked saying you are under the penalty of death, but you fail to deliver the warning, but if you fail to deliver the warning, in this case, if I fail to deliver the warning he's giving me to giving people, then he's saying they will die in their sin. They will die in their sin, right? And I will hold you responsible for their death. So he's saying, if I don't come and deliver this message and give people this warning about these secret societies, which we'll get into in a little bit, he's saying they can die in their sin. They can get a punishment for doing what they're doing because they're signing a lot of covenants with the enemy. They can die in their sin. But he's saying, I'll hold you responsible. He said, he can hold me responsible if I don't bring this message out immediately. He said, but if you warn them and they refuse to repent and keep on sinning, they will die in their sin, but you will have saved yourself because you obeyed me. He's saying, you're going to save yourself because you obey me if you go out there and give these people this message immediately. Then Ezekiel 33:6 saying the same thing. He said, but if the watchman sees the enemy coming and does not sound the alarm to warn the people, he's responsible for their captivity. They will die in their sin, but I will hold the watchman responsible for their death. So that's why I couldn't wait, ladies and gentlemen, to come this morning to tell you guys what he had me doing all weekend. This is Labor Day weekend, man. This is Labor Day weekend. I was like, God, this is Labor Day weekend. You don't really know this is Labor Day weekend. You got me listening to all of these people testimonies, how they're denouncing these secret societies. What's up with that? He said, you don't deliver my message immediately. I'm holding you responsible. I'm holding you responsible. I couldn't sleep last night. It was like, come on, morning, come quickly. Let me get this out because I want to save myself. So needless to say, these secret organizations, these people was really, really denounced since God pulled them out of this stuff, right? And a lot of them, school is going to open. I don't know why it's on Labor Day. You give me this to tell you guys, but school, I guess, open. Some university already open. Some going to be opening soon. People going back to school. And these organizations on campus is like the in crowd. This is the in crowd. They do a lot of good on the campus and they sell this stuff. Some of them people said they even get involved because they sell it as they're saying the organizations are based on Christian principles. They're saying they're based on Christian principles and they join without thinking, oh, well, it's not a problem. And the problem is, there's a lot of pastors, there's a lot of preachers, there's a lot of deacons, there's a lot of influential people in society and in the church involved in these organizations. And God said, you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters because these organizations, as I learn in more and more, which I didn't know before, but I get more in depth from people who was involved in it because I was actually never in a secret organization. I get more in depth. And see, the thing is what most of them confess in. You do not know everything until you cross over. When the time of the initiation you cross over, then you learn certain things. They talk about getting this ritual book with all the rituals that they have to do, right? Then them going in and talk about all these gods associated with the different organization. All the different gods. I can get into that. All the different gods that they got they got these altars that they need to kneel to. They're making covenants with the devil. And some of the ritual books that take out they take out God and they put in the AKA or the Delta. You must give your heart, body, mind, and soul. And you're pretty much signing over saying that you give this organization total control over your life. And it's pretty much till death do us part in a nutshell what it's saying. One of them saying you enter into what? An agreement that you could never get out of. I'm talking, you go, if you were part of these organizations, this stuff was never brought out to you before. Go back, look at your ritual book, as they call it. I don't know about the ritual book. You guys, if you're part of it, you will know what the ritual book is. Look at all of these things, line it up with God's principles and see if it line up. That's all I ask you to do. Or your kids going to college now, let them hear this message. Or you can just go and type in denouncing AKA, denouncing deltas, whatever, a whole bunch of testimonies. Listen to what these people tell you what has happened after your crossover, because you're not getting this information before. All to sell it is that they're doing so good, and you're going to see all the good stuff, what they're doing on the campuses and in the communities, and they got all these fundraisers and they're helping and all that. But, guys, it's just like this. It's just like if you know a known criminal or somebody is a known criminal, known thief. You know where the source where they're getting the funds from. The man who doing the drugs and everything. You know how he's getting his money, but yet still he got all these charities, right? He got all these charities and he giving people and he doing things like the drug lord Pablo Escobar. He got all, he was the drug lord. He was, killing and doing all this crime, but yet still he had built communities with the same drug money, build communities to people and doing things that the government didn't doing for these people, right? Build houses, build up the communities and all. So he's taking the drug money. So you could say, oh, he's doing a lot of good, right? But what's the source of his income? What's the source, right? So I'm asking people, do your due diligence, line it up. Because these stuff was look good. All of them said they get catch by it because they were so captivated and want to be a part of this brotherhood, sisterhood stuff. They talk about all the drugs and all the sexual stuff. One guy was saying that they tell him, if I want to sleep with your girlfriend, you got to be okay with it. So, I mean, a man can just come and tell me, hey, I need your girlfriend tonight. And I got to be okay with it. You know what I mean? They went into... You got to go and listen to these stuff, right? You got to go and listen to these stuff. Some of the rituals where they say they got to perform, these chants where they got to repeat and all of these things, right? And say that I don't quote me directly, but one of the poems where they got to say a part of it is like, I'm the master of my own fate and the captain of my own soul, something along the line. But each one of these organizations is these Greek gods that they are really paying reference to, and these Founders Day and all this good stuff what they're talking about. It's these gods they're paying these reference to, right? That's what they now found out when they do their research, when God speak to them. And most of them said that God was working against it, doing things along the way to prevent them from joining these organizations. But they went ahead anyhow because this was it. This is people look like they're thriving. They carry themselves so nice on campus. That was the in crowd. And once you get into these organizations, you have arrived. You got a chip on your shoulder. Now you are, you're it. You're in the in crowd. You got so much authority now. People look up to you and people just want to be a part of that. So to dismiss all the signs that God was giving them, all the signs that he was giving them, they dismissed it and they went ahead. That's why he said trust, Proverbs 3:5-6 saying, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Put it by him, no matter how good it look. He said, run it by me. Let it pass my sniff test. Let it pass my sniff test, right? And this one here, in Leviticus 4:13 through 14, here it said, it's telling you now. He said, if the entire Israel community sins by violating one of the Lord's commands, right? But the people don't realize it. You may not realize. You may get into this thing, Mr. Michael McKinnon. Good morning. Good morning. You might get into this thing by deception because they're going to deceive you to get you involved in it. You get into it by deception, right? He's saying you didn't realize it, but you're still guilty of your sin. You're still guilty because you're guilty, right? But he said, but when they become aware of their sin, the people must bring a young bull as an offering for the sin and present it to the tabernacle. So he's saying, you may get into this stuff, Mr. Clifton Mosley. Good morning, good morning. Same, you may get into these organizations under deception. But he said, when it made known to you, you realize the deception, you realize it. Now I bring this message, I planting this seed. You go and line it up. Now you're aware of the sin. He's saying, you got to ask for repentance. And back in those days, I had to bring the young bull and all that, but Jesus Christ take care of all that. We just got to go and ask for repentance. So what you do with this information I'm giving you right now is up to you. It's up to you to do with this information that I am giving you. All I'm asking people to do is line it up. You guys know if you're in it. What all this stuff, all these lodge, all these Freemasonry, Eastern Stars and all that is secret for a reason. One of the women said they had to, and it took them long to get out. They don't want to release them. They're making her sign a release form saying you cannot talk about none of the secrets in here. You cannot. You say, I'm trying to come out of a covenant. You're trying to get me to sign another covenant now? And it took her about 6 months back and forth. She had to get lawyers involved and all that for them to release her from that stuff. Because you got to sign on the dotted line. Sign your life over to this organization as they sign. That's what they're saying you got to do. If you in it, you know what you do. You know what the initiation period was. All the hazing and all of that. That can't be of God. God saying it's not of me. So he's saying, warn people right now. School is starting. Some of your kids are going to be going to school. And most likely, this is what's going on in colleges. They want to get lined up with one of these organizations, got to promise them all the moon and the stars and all. They're going to look out for them, this brotherhood, sisterhood, and, you know, your job after you graduate and all of these good stuff, right? So warn them. All of this, just let them go and line it up. Find out as much as they can find out, because nobody in it is going to tell you what goes on after you cross over. That's part of what they held to. So you're going to get a little screen save and all the good of what they're doing and tell you based on these Christian principles and everything is mild before you get to there. But the stuff that they got you doing before that depends on the campus you're on. It's going to vary with the severity of the stuff that you got to go through. Each campus to say it's different where you're going to go through, right? But you're not going to know stuff until you cross over. All these altars that you got to kneel down to and bow and all of these stuff you got to do when you get a ritual book. But a lot of them not going into full details of all these rituals and all that. Some of them divulging a little more information. I had to listen to about 20-something of them to get a little bit more from everyone. And he want me to get a better understanding of this. As he said in Ezekiel 3:10, he said, Son of man, let my words sink deep into your own heart. He said, listen to them carefully for yourself. I want you to spend your entire Labor Day weekend. I don't care if it's Labor Day or not. This is what I want you to spend your weekend doing, both Saturday and Sunday. Listen to them carefully for yourself. That's his instruction. He said, then go and tell the people. This is what the Sovereign Lord says. He said, do this whether they listen to you or not. Do this whether they listen to you or not. And then I want to tell people to And this is Ezekiel 3:17 through 19, just so we warning me. I want to also tell you. Let me read it if people just join. He says, Son of man, I have appointed you as a watchman for Israel. Whenever you receive a message from me, warn people immediately. So if you, that's why I start to tell people, it's important. When God asks you to do something, you do it. Do it, right? Because he's saying, if he give you a warning to give someone, you got your good friend going down the brown line, your brother, sister, something, and God put it on you. Don't jump into people's business. But if he put it on your heart to warn the person and just bring it to the attention, you know the person might not talk to you anymore. You know they might get upset and tell you mind your own business and all that. But if he put it on your heart to give them a warning and say, please, what you doing? Just take a look at what you're doing. Or however he give it to you, put it over to them. He's saying you do it regardless of the expense, what it's going to cost you. Because he said if you do not warn them, he know what they're doing. They're going to die for their own sin. But he said, I give you a warning because I want to give everybody a chance. I want to give everybody a chance. If you go down in Ezekiel, he was pleading with the people and saying, look, y'all saying my ways are so hard. My ways is not hard. All I tell you to do is follow these laws and this is going to happen. Every time you follow it, look how I bless you. You saying my ways are so hard? No, it's not. So you want to give everybody a chance. So he's going to still give you a warning. But it's up to you to receive the warning. So he's saying to the people, if I give you this message to go and give to your friend, to your brother, your sister, whoever it is, I put it in your heart to give them this warning of what they're doing, what it's going to cost them. He said, if you don't, they're going to die for their own sin, but he's going to hold you responsible for it. Now, why would you want to be held responsible for somebody else's sin? It's not like it's not fair, right? But he's saying, I tell you to warn them because my laws got to go through. I love each one of you guys. I got to warn you. You cannot say you didn't get warned. You cannot say you did not know. Like in here, he's saying, okay, if you're sinning and you didn't know, this is Leviticus 4:13. If you didn't know, okay, that's when he can got his grace over you, right? Because he could extend grace to anyone. You're doing stuff that you didn't really know. You get deceived by doing it. And like you say, you should have done your due diligence, but you did not. Okay, but you was deceived. I know your heart is in the right place. I can cover you with my little grace for this period. But it come a point in time when I'm going to send somebody to warn you about it. And when the time come, if you don't heed the warning of what you're doing is wrong and you don't repent, everything else is on you, right? So let me finish this. So he's saying Ezekiel here, he's saying, Son of man, I appoint you as a watchman for Israel. When you receive a message from me, warn people immediately. But if I warn the wicked, saying you are under the penalty of death, but you fail to deliver the warning, they will die in their sin, and I will hold you responsible for their deaths. If you warn them and they refuse to repent and keep on sinning, they will die in their sin, but you will have saved yourself because you obey me. So guys, whoever this message is for, if you in these secret organization, whether it's Lodge, whether it's Freemasonry, whether these things open a lot of doors to the enemy. They open a lot of doors that people talk about the dreams that they get in and all that, and they could not relate it back to these organizations where they're in. All these dreams, all these nightmares, stuff happening to them, and they did not realize until God opened the eyes and said, hey, you're serving two masters. You got covenants with the devil and I can't help you. When they really ask God, why are these things happening to me? He said, when he tells some of them, they're like, no way, it cannot be. This organization was so good to me, all my connections. You tell me I need to give this up? This is my whole life. He's saying, well, if that's your life, continue to live it. But you ask me why these things are happening to you, and I show you what it is. And when they do, and the scales come off the eye, they feel so upset, they feel so deceived that why they couldn't see this stuff before, why I couldn't see it. But that's how it is. That's how it is. When the scales on your eyes and you're doing stuff off of your own and you don't run it by him, that's what's going to happen. So ladies, I'm going to rest my case right there. I did my part, so he cannot hold me responsible. If you hear this and you don't act on it, it's on you now. It's no more on me. I did my part. And I give the message, God. I want it to stay as a witness to everybody here. I did what you asked me to do. And I deliver your message immediately as you asked me to do. So I am clear. The blood is off my hand. All right, guys, I can leave that there. Enjoy your Labor Day for the people who celebrating the holiday, and we'll talk again on Wednesday. Goodbye.